unmute the microphone, Mark. It's very important that you unmute the microphone. Hi, welcome. So we have a name for this project now. I did a Twitter call for names and people suggested names, and I'd thought of Cocoon and Chrysalis and various other Facelift, and some other people suggested some things like Metamorph and so forth. And I ended up doing a poll to choose between four of them, and the results of that poll are here. So Banyan, so somebody suggested Strangler Fig, and it turns out that what I've been doing actually has a name. It's a pattern. It has a name because Martin Fowler gave it one. Martin Fowler is the man who gives things names. That's what he does. And he came up with a pattern called Strangler, named after strangler figs, which are a kind of plant. They don't seed in the ground; they seed in trees. So the seed lands in a tree, and the strangler fig starts growing, and it grows downwards towards the ground, and then it takes root in the ground, and then it completely overtakes the tree, and it kills it, which is actually a really apt name for what this is doing. But strangler is not a nice word. You say strangler, I think Boston. And so I didn't want to call it that, and so I went looking, because there's a thing where you kind of go, oh, that's, you got that word, and then you do association and stuff. And apparently banyan trees are a kind of strangler fig, and so I thought banyan, and so I put that on there. But I put cocoon on cocoon because an old thing gets wrapped in a cocoon, and then some time passes, and then a beautiful thing comes out of it. And Cocoon got 40% of the votes on my Twitter poll, with 110 votes, because people did not retweet it, even though I asked very nicely many times. So Cocoon it is. So what we're going to do today is we're going to create a Cocoon project, and we are going to start copying things out of other places and into Cocoon, and start the process of packaging it up on as a NuGet package, and if there's time, then possibly even get it published on NuGet with a GitHub action to publish new releases. So we will start off. I have found that it is much easier now to create your project on GitHub and then clone it, and before you start doing any new things or anything like that. So I'm going to create a new GitHub repo, and it's going to be called Cocoon, which is available because it's in my organization. An implementation of the strangler fig pattern for ASP.NET Core, and it's going to be public, and we will add a readme file, and we will add a gitignore file using Visual Studio, and we will choose a license, and we're going to license it as Apache. So I'm not going to make it MIT, because Apache does have a couple of additional things in there that give you more protection than MIT, to do with patents and things. And yeah, MIT basically just says, take this code and do what you want with it. And Apache says, take this code and do what you want with it, but with sort of references and copyright notices and everything intact. So there we go. Set main as the default branch, which is great. GitHub have done that now, and not using master anymore. I think we can all approve of that. So, new PowerShell window in the terminal. I don't know where you keep your code. I have a D drive, and my D drive, so it's like my home directory on this machine is the D drive, which is a completely separate disk, which I do like. It's a 1 terabyte super fast PCIe Gen 4 SSD. It's lovely. So I'm going to make a directory Cocoon and then cd into it. And then I will do git clone, but I'm going to call it oh no, let's just do that. And then we can go into here and we can just very quickly open this up in code, which I want to do, because the git ignore, the Visual Studio git ignore from GitHub does not have idea in it, and you need that when you're working with Rider. So .idea/, so that will tell it not to add. So that .idea is basically Rider's equivalent of the .vs directory for Visual Studio. And then we will say .net new sln, and that's just going to be called Cocoon. And then we'll say .net. No, let's not do this. Let's go into Facade, which we've already got. And I've got my library here. And I'm going to do, you can go away. And I'm just going to use Rider's project rename, and this is going to be called recode.cocoon. I won't do the rename root namespace right now, but I don't think there are any of those. So the nice thing about this is it renames the project folder for you as well, and I do like that. It's very annoying when you decide you need to rename a project. And then we can make sure that this still builds because it's got a reference to recode.cocoon. And yep, that's all good. And then we can do Control-Shift-R, adjust namespaces. No files were found with incorrect namespaces. There we go, root namespace is set wrong. So we'll change this to recode. We can just take it out because it's the same as the assembly name. Oh no, hang on, this is going to be different, isn't it? Let's change this again. So this is going to be the proxy layer. So we'll call it cocoon recode.cocoon.proxy. Yay, rename all the things all the time. And then that is the right thing there. Now we can do the adjust namespaces and say next, and that's good. And so now this has a reference to recode.cocoon.proxy, and all the namespaces should have been changed, and so we're good. Excellent, good stuff. Right, and then now we can show this in Explorer, and we can jump back out of here, and we can copy this. Sorry, let me move. Here we go. So we can copy this directory and go to d::cocoon, make an src folder, and then paste that in here. I'm just going to go in and delete the bin and obj folders, and then we can jump back to here and say .NET sln add src / recode.cocoon.proxy, and then we can open this up in Rider, and we have our code there. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to close facade down, and I'm going to go back to here, and we will take facade, and we're going to copy facade and wingtip toys out of here, and we're just going to pop them into this root directory here. Slowly, slowly, slowly. Please do say hello in the chat, by the way, and feel free to heckle me and everything. Oh, milestone. I've also, see, I'm doing this again, aren't I? I'm just bouncing around up there, and nobody's in the chat going, Mark, you're in the way. We can't see the code or the. We can't see the magic, Mark. Show us the magic. But yes, I've reached 50 followers on Twitch, and this is my 8th stream. And so after this stream, I get to become a Twitch affiliate. And when I'm an affiliate, that means that we get fun things in the chat, like emotes and bits, and everybody can collect bits and then use them to spam the chat with fun emotes and that sort of thing. So that's cool. I don't know what else it gives me as a thing. They say it lets you monetize your Twitch stream, which I'm not expecting to make huge amounts of money from, but it'll be fun to have the bits and some of the other stuff that you can do with the affiliate status. So that's going to be good. Right. So what am I doing now? Oh, that's right. I've moved those, and so then I'm going to open facade again. No, I'm not. I'm going to shut that down because I didn't mean to do it from there. File, open, and we are going to go to Cocoon and facade and open that there. And then we're going to take the reference to recode.cocoon.proxy out, go away, and we're going to remove that from the solution, and then we are going to add an existing project, and we're going to jump down to here and into Cocoon and into SRC, and we'll reference that project instead. Resharpers, and then we'll add a reference to that. Excellent. And now everything is cool and working, and then we can do the same thing. We can open up Visual Studio, and we can open a project or solution, and we're going to go to see this is the proper thing. This scales properly. Don't know why JetBrains open project dialog doesn't scale properly. So we're going to go into Cocoon and wingtip toys and wingtip toys.sln. And where am I? I am in here and doing this. So I'm going to say .NET new class lib -o src /recode dot cocoon dot. This is the back end thing, isn't it? Let's just call it backend dot legacy. We'll call it legacy because it's going to go into the legacy system. Or I could call it caterpillar. That would be fun. And then .NET SLN add src /recode.cocoon.legacy. And then now in Wingtip Toys, which we are still editing in Visual Studio, we can say add a new project. Nope. Add an existing project. Still not doing it. First, what we need to do is we need to go into here, which has now got the legacy thing, and we need to change the target framework for this to 4.5. There we go. And now we can add that to Wingtip Toys. So we can say add existing project, and we can go into Cocoon src recode cocoon legacy and bring that in here. And now we can start to copy across some of the things from here. So we had a session API handler. We had an auth API handler in here as well somewhere, and I can't find it. Where's that gone? Facade session, facade session. Why are you not the right one? Because you're the right one. Okay. I have too many copies of everything floating around on my system. That's what the problem is. Nope. Don't do that. Sorry, I'm moving things around on the screen now. Visual Studio, there you go. I've copied the wrong things into the wrong places. That's what I've done. So let's get rid of that. Because apparently I had it in ASP.NET. We go into Cocoon and we'll paste that in here instead. Why is there a picture called truckfire.png in my Wingtip Toys solution? I do not know. Okay, so now we can go into here and we can say open a project or solution, and we can go down here to Cocoon, Wingtip Toys, Wingtip Toys. There we go. Excellent. Yep, there we go. Wingtip tests in here. That's much better. And then in facade, we've got auth API handler. Right, so now in here, we can say add existing project and bring in Cocoon Legacy. Hello, person who just joined. Please feel free to say hi in the chat. If you can. And then in here we can add a reference to that project, and that should be okay, even though it's a .NET. It's a modern SDK project. And then we can drag these things out. So let's just do the session API handler to start off with. We're going to copy that up to there and then delete it from here. We can get rid of class.cs1. So reference assembly system.web and import system.web.ihttp handler. If we manage NuGet packages and look for message pack, and we want message pack 1.9.11, that was the version that works with this. Accept all the license terms without checking what any of them are. And now our session API handler should work okay. And then we should be able to copy these things across as well, and then just delete this out entirely from here and build this project. Namespace services does not exist. That's fine. And so now this builds. That's good. And then we can where's my thing? Refactor, adjust namespaces. Yep. So that works well. And then we just need to go into web.config here and find our handlers. And this is going to become, so let's just do that. And the same with that. And we can get rid of them. But I do probably want to put that in there like that. And then we can do the same thing down here. And I think we're good. So get rid of the version stuff because it's not necessary. So theoretically, he said boldly, this now works. So you can come down here. There's the new one. Hurrah! The old one. And then we go to our facade. Which I've lost. these unused directives in here where you can get rid of this because we refactored that out, and we refactored that out, and now if we run this as well, and we're on localhost 5001, and we can go to products. So this is coming from the back end, and we can add a fast car to our cart, and then this is still coming from the back end. This is our shopping cart here, but if I go to home, cart is coming through with nothing in it, and I'm not sure why. See if we're getting any error messages at the back end. So we're getting our authentication 401s, that's all fine. Requesting facade auth. But session is not happening. So let's go to here, facade session, get, we'll set a breakpoint on there, refresh that. Where's our base address? So that's still right. Value. So yeah, that's right. So then DB cart items. It is obviously not getting that out of there. So wingtip toys, come on, open up tables, cart items, show table data. Now we've got cart ID. And so our cart ID is 2B7D757. 2B7D757. Interesting. Why is that not giving me back the correct amount? I'm going to stop this. Dot to list async. And let's remove all line breakpoints and then set a new one here, and then we're going to go back in. Not you. products. Cart apparently has gone back to 0, so okay, whatever. Then we can do add to cart, and then if we go back to home, it's got the cart ID. Cart items, cart item, string item ID. Copy value. And then we go back to here and we can refresh this. So we've got EOOC 54D4-3D0-4911-83E0-7A0C8DD 47FDD. So it's there. It's just not getting passed back across to the other side. Oh, I think I might know why this is happening. Yes, no, I do know why this is happening. This is my Wingtip Toys context here, and in my startup here, this is pointing to the wrong place because I'm an idiot. And so this just needs changing to Cocoon, like so. And then if we run this again, because yes, it's pointing at a valid database, it's just not pointing at the right database. It's pointing at the database from before I copied things to different places. So cart ID, cart now has stuff in it. So that's that. We've got one thing in there, and all is right with the world again. And we're in the right place. And now if I go to admin, and I go, no, I don't want any of those, and I'm going to log in as admin, $WORD. And here we are on our new admin page, which is implemented in ASP.NET Core MVC. And yeah, okay, we are underway. We are definitely underway. So I think now what we need to do is, if we go into Cocoon, I'm just going to stop Wingtip Toys from running, and we'll stop Facade from running. You can go away. So proxy, redirect transformer, this needs fixing up, but to start off with, what I really want to do is work on the session side of things. The serialization is extremely bad because it's using message pack serializer for everything, and I want to change that. So let's put some structure in here. So we'll have session, and session API handler can go into there, and then we'll have auth API handler. So these can all go into a folder called auth, and we'll put that, I can go into there like that. Okay, so let's do some fun. Oh, and then we'll just adjust the namespaces again. Yep, you're all good. And drop back into here because web.config is almost certainly not. Has it? Yep, no, it has. Oh, ReSharper's a bit good, isn't it? Finding them in the web.config. If I'd written ReSharper, I would have forgotten to check that. There's no way I would have gone in there and gone, oh, don't forget that it's probably referenced in web.config from places. So yes. What else have we got going on here? Right, that's it. We're going to improve the serialization stuff. So for that, I'm going to jump over to Cocoon over here, Auth API handler. Import missing references in file. Oh, let's just stick .auth back on there. That'll be fine. Okay, session API handler. So this is the server-side session API handler, the sort of the back-end bit. And as I said, at the moment, we're just using message pack serializer.serialize with contract list standard resolver.instance, which is not really what we want to do, because a lot of the stuff that's coming from session, people aren't, yes, there are people who have massive object graphs and they store them in session, and those people are bad and bad things should happen to them. But lots of people just use that. They stick strings in there, they stick integers and all this sort of stuff. And so I am going to create a serialize method here, private static, and this is just going to return a byte array, serialize, and we're going to pass in an object obj, and then we can say switch obj and use the modern C#'s lovely type pattern matching in a switch statement to serialize this using a much better approach. So we are going to say case string str. We can just return encoding.utf8.getBytes str, and that works. And we can say case int i32 return bit converter dot get bytes i32, and then we can also do that for in long i64, and then just right at the end we can say default, and then we can just return, and we can go up here and grab message pack.serializer like that, except we're just going to it's going to be obj, and there we go. And then we can build that up with more types as we go along, which I will probably do off stream because I don't think it's particularly entertaining to watch somebody do that. So then instead of that, I can say byte equals serialize obj, serialize value. So if it's null, we're setting status code to 404. I'm going to rename this and call it value down here as well. So this is a much better approach. So when it is just a string, we're just going to do get bytes. If it's an int 32, then we can use bit converter. What does bit converter work on? Bit converter.getBytes has overloads for bool, char, double, float, int, long, short, uint, ulong, and ushort. Okay. Decimal's going to be interesting there. I'm not sure about serializing decimals, but there is. So hang on, decimal dot get bits. Which returns something. Decimal dot to byte converts the value of the specified decimal to the equivalent 8-bit unsigned integer. Good luck with that. Yes, I'm going to come back and worry about how we do decimal at some other point. So that's good. And then in our proxy side of things, in session and facade session, and we are going to have a private static t deserialize t bytes, and then we can't switch t here, I don't think. That's not going to let me do that. And I don't really want a bunch of we'll do this to start off with. Or can I do switch type of t, case type of string? No, I can't do that. It has to be a constant value. Arg. Hey, thanks very much, Kev Griff. And hello, everybody from Kev Griff's channel. Yay, and thank you for the follow rollers. That's awesome. Oh, that's nice. Hello, everybody. We are working on what is now called Cocoon. This is my implementation of the Strangler Fig pattern, which is it's a ASP.NET Core MVC application that you wrap around an ASP.NET WebForms application in this instance, but an old application. And you gradually replace the old application, kind of one page at a time, one ASPX file or an old MVC application, and you just move them across to your new application and re-implement them in nice shiny new ASP.NET Core with all that good stuff. And what we're doing here is you can't just do that. You need to be able to make sure that stuff stays. So I think the two applications can share things and act as one application. And so what we're working on at the moment is session sharing between the two things. So, and we do session sharing by adding an endpoint to the back-end application where you can say, hey, give me something out of your session, or potentially set something in your session. And it grabs it out of the session using the cookie that gets passed across, and then sends it back to the Cocoon, the proxy application, and says, here you go, this is this value from session. So they can work like two things. And so in here, we've just done the serializing on the server side here, and we're just optimizing our serialization. So we were just using message-pack serializer.serialize for strings and ints, and thanks for the follow, Tester Coder, appreciate it. I said that already. I'm still quite new at this, although I get affiliate today, so that's quite nice. So yes, we're kind of optimizing that and going, don't use message-pack serializer for strings and ints and int64s. And I'll come back and I'll do the rest of those in a little while. But in here, I'm just going to say if type of t equals type of string, return encoding.utf8.get string bytes. What are you complete? Cannot cast expression. Yes, you can. Oh, I'd forgotten how nasty this was. It is very nasty. But this is what we are doing. Okay. So what we can actually do here is we can have a private static read-only dictionary. No, not that. What are you doing? Of type and func of byte object. Deserializers equals new. And then we can say type of string equals bytes to encoding.utf8.get bytes. Get string. Oh no, it's not that, is it? It's there we go, like that. And then in here we can say if deserializers.try get value type of t comma out bar deserializer return t deserializer bytes. Otherwise, we're just going to return message pack deserializer like so. So we can add in type of int equals bytes to bit converter dot to int 32 bytes long goes to int 64 and so on and so forth. So yes, this is fine. Boxing allocation, yes, it's going to box something and that's not great, but I don't think there's very much we can do about it. Does anyone know a way I could avoid the boxing on that? There probably is. There's probably something really nasty that I could do somewhere, but I don't know where that's going to come from. I guess maybe if I added overloads for get. So yeah, I could do that. I could add get int32 and get string and so forth. That would avoid the need for the boxing allocation there. I'll just leave it like that for the time being. So yes, we've got a lookup of funcs here, and that's returning the right things there. And then we just need to change this here to deserialize t bytes. And I just want to do so response.content. Read as byte array. There's no overload of that lets me read directly into a byte buffer. So we'll just leave that the way it is for the time being. So if I now jump back to yes to all, yep, reload all of those things there. So there's my serialize on that side. So we can just run this. And there's my default.aspx there. And then we can go back to facade, which has now got this, and we can run this code here. And so now we can go into products and say add that to the cart, and then we can go back to here and everything is working as it should be, and it's all still good. Right. So let's stop all of this. Stop this nonsense immediately. And I'm going to go back to here, and before we go any further, because I've done quite a lot of stuff here, so if I do git add dot -an dry run, so we've got git ignore cocoon.sln, that looks good. Git commit -m initial commit, and then git push. Okay. So now I don't want you, I want this one. I've got to turn these into NuGet packages, and this is all done inside inside the CS proj file these days. So close all tabs to the right, and I'm going to do the standard thing that everybody does, or at least that I do when I am creating a NuGet package and trying to remember the things that you have to put into the NuGet package. Bits, which is to go, can't use that one because it's a Microsoft one. build locator app, NuGet Compat. Where have I put my .NET Nuke, my Nuke from Orbit project? Excuse me, I'm going to move this off here because that is really hard to see. So d:\.NET sandbox. Where is Nuke from Orbit? It's possible it's not even on this machine actually. This is a new machine. My PC died last year and I had to get a new PC, which upset me terribly, but not as much as it upset my wife. So I've got one on here, github.com/RendellLabs, Nuke from Orbit. Here we go, Nuke from Orbit. This is a .NET tool that I made that does a proper clean on a solution directory. So you can install it with .NET tool install -g Nuke from Orbit. And yes, then when you're in a .NET solution directory at the command line, you can just type Nuke from Orbit and it will find all the files in your bin and obj directories and delete them, but with a little bit of cleverness, because it it won't delete it. So if for some reason you've got something in your obj directory that you've accidentally added to Git, and it shouldn't be deleted, it does check to see that files are not under Git control and things like that. It's fun. I mainly wanted to create a .NET tool called Nuke from Orbit, you know, like you do. So let's go back into our Cocoon thing here, and we're going to create a new property group, and we're going to have a package ID which is going to be recode.cocoon.proxy, and we'll set a version 0.0.0-alpha1 because this is not ready to use, and we'll use that for the time being there. Package, generate package on build, true, that's good. And then we will go to here and we will copy this into our other project, and we'll just change this to legacy. And then we can build these. And then we can open this up in Explorer. And if we go into src, we find star.nupkg. There we go. And then I'm just going to make sure I'm signed into NuGet on another screen, and I'm not. That's the thing there. That's the thing there. Yes, stay signed in. And then we can drop this down to here and upload a package. And we can just we found the following issues. All published packages should have license information specified. So license, download the NuGet package and unzip its contents. let's just go back on there. NuGet license element. CSproj license element. Package license expression. So we need the SPDX for Apache. So is that Apache 2.0? Package license expression. Package license expression is Apache 2. So we drop that in there as well. We can build this again. Cancel to restart, and then let's go back to here and choose this and drop it in there. License expression Apache 2, license file doesn't have one, .NET 5 because Microsoft reverse proxy. Oh, it works on NetCore App 3.1. Maybe change that in the future then. I didn't know it worked on NetCore App 3.1. So this will do for the time being. And then we can upload and grab legacy and submit that as well. Right, so those are now in the process of being published, which is all good. With a 0.0.0-alpha1 to stop anybody from coming along and thinking that's a good idea, I can use that. I can put that in my application and do real things with it. Okay. I've accidentally opened JetBrains.peak on another screen, which is now drilling into one of those package files. How has that associated itself with package files? I do not know. Okay. So we've nabbed the package names on NuGet. That's good. We have put the package information in there. Obviously a bunch more stuff is going to have to go in there. We need to write some documentation and all sorts of stuff. But the authentication side of things, I think the authentication side of things is reasonably okay. But what I need to start doing now, if I'm going to actually publish these things, is start to document what these actually are and start putting some of these things in configurable places. It's always fun when you take something that you've sort of built, just randomly thrown it together and not particularly done anything sensible with it, and then you come along and decide to turn it into a NuGet package and publish it out to the world for the world to use. And suddenly you have to take everything a lot more seriously and write some tests and things. And probably start signing the code at some point as well, but we won't worry about that for now. So let's set up a GitHub action to publish these to NuGet. That's always fun. So if I refresh here and go to actions, and we've got a .NET that looks like what we want. Workflows, yeah, that'll do. So we do setup.net with .NET version 5.0.x, restore dependencies, build, run .NET test, which we will do shortly. So let's just do that. Commit directly to the main branch, and then I can jump back to here and I can do a git pull, which will get that in there for me, and we can open this up with code. And go into GitHub, and we've got github.net.yml. And then we need to build some additional things in here so that we can, so this needs to be .NET build -- configuration release. But what I want to do in here, so we run .NET restore, and then I'm going to put in git bank nerdbank.git versioning. So we go into actions and open this up. Edit, and over here we can look for nerdbank git versioning, which is still on 0.3.1, so that's good. So we're going to say ID is nerdbank gv, which uses .NET slash nbgv at v0.3.1, and .NET build help. So if I do .NET build ISC release -p colon version equals 0.0.1, and that creates 0.0.1 over there. That's good. -p colon version equals 0.0 equals dollar steps dot nbgv dot outputs dot simple version dash preview. Okay, so let's preview, no, alpha. What has that actually done to my DLLs? Proxy bin release net50 properties details product version file version. That seems to work quite well. Okay, so now what I want to do is figure out nerd bank where does it get it from? So if I just do why have you modified? What have I done to you? So that can go away now, and that can go away now. Test action. And then we can jump back to here We can go back to Cocoon and into Actions, and this one is queued. And we've got our build job, which is waiting to run, setup job, setup.net. Extracting zip. Determining projects to restore. Nerdbank git versioning, unable to process command, add path, home run at the add path command. Please upgrade to using environment files. A moderate security vulnerability has been identified in the GitHub Actions runner. Introduced a new set of files to manage environment and path updates in workflows. Action and workflow authors who are setting environment variables via stdout should update any usage of the setenv and addPath workflow commands to use the new environment files. That's annoying. Okay, so how do I set an environment variable in GitHub Actions? GitHub Actions set environment variables. So I can just go into here and put env and it was allow unsecure commands. Probably needs quotes around it because YAML will treat that as a thing. Hey, do this again. And then we can drop into here and see what's going on there. Things never run smoothly, do they? So Nerdbank git versioning produced assembly file version, assembly informational version, and simple version, and so on. So then what we need to do for NerdBank is go back to here, and in the root of the project we can add a new file called version.json, which which NerdBank Git versioning will read from, and then in here we can just put 0, 1, and that will set that for me. Push that back up again as well. And then if we go back to here and we go back to actions and our build, and it's failed again. Unable to get version from commit, object reference not set to an instance of an object. So why? Well, I can run these locally. And then I can run this here as well. And that's worked completely fine. Absolutely no problems at all there. So let's just rerun all jobs and see if that was a transient error. Restoring things, installing that. Nope. Definition of insanity. Trying the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. Why was I expecting different results? Issues. Special cloud build considerations. Your CI build should be configured to actually clone the Git repo rather than download sources. But actions checkout v2. Do I have actions checkout v2 in my workout here? Ah, there we go. Actions checkout v2. So I need with fetch depth 0. Like that. Fix NerdBank Git versioning, Git push. And then let's jump back to here and go to actions. And we've got this one. And let's see how this is going. Yes! I fixed it. It wasn't broken. I just done it wrong. Awesome. Okay. My build works. So now the only thing I need to do apart from that is set up the bit that actually pushes the packages to NuGet, and that involves things like API keys and so forth that I have to set up. So I'm going to end the stream for today, and I'm going to crack on and get that bit set up in there and do that off screen, and probably write a README for the project as well. So thanks to everybody for joining. It was very nice of you to stop by and watch me flounder around and reveal that I actually have no clue what I'm doing to the entire world. Tuesdays and Thursdays, currently I've been doing it at 7 p.m. I don't know if that's the best time. I may change it and do it at a different time. We will see. Big thanks to Kev for the raid, really appreciated that. Yeah, so I will be back on Tuesday next week with some more fun stuff to do, probably writing some tests and trying to structure things so that they can be tested properly and all that sort of good stuff. So yeah, if you want to join in with that, then be sure to follow, and then you can click a notification thing and you can say tell me when Mark's streaming and it'll do that. Other than that, this has been lots of fun. Really appreciate everyone showing up, and I will see you all again. Take care of yourselves and goodbye.